On Saturday, Sunday, work 30, 40, 50 deals. If we're sending TurboPass up front, when I get the deal, everything's already done, a checklist is done. It's a lot easier for me to work the deal than having a stack of bank statements. You get a stack like that of bank statements. You're highlighting the deposits. You're looking at here. It's just it's a lot. It's very time consuming. So this eliminates all that because you see it. Boom, here. This is your 90-day deposits, 120-day deposits. This is your baseline. This is your P2P. This is your real deposits, and you just move quick. And I have my entire team trained on how to do that now. So now the desk managers hand me the deal and they're like, yeah, this is what you got. Boom, here's the deposits. They show money. Boom, boom, boom. They got $6,000 in their bank account. Blah, blah, blah. You just work it. So the way we work a deal at our store is the desk is the first one that sends out the TurboPass. So typically if you got a first time buyer or you got somebody with a 660 or below, we want to see what they have in their account before we work the deal. All right. Then we know how much money down we could get from the customer. We know if we can see their deposits. We know what kind of vehicle we're going to put them on. And especially for funding, if you send the TurboPass up front to the banks that accept it, the deal's going to fund a lot faster. We're going to get our money a lot faster. You're able to e-contract the deal and you're able to, that's how that's how the Morgan Auto Group wants it. Everything e-contract, the money as quick as possible. So using TurboPass when you're working with a subprime deal or a first-time buyer expedites that. I like to pull them both. Because at times you have a customer that has a couple employers, or maybe they get a 1099 on one of their income, and on the other income it is a pay stub, and maybe they do some side work or whatever the case is. So if I'm working a deal with a bank and the PTI is a little tight, I'll send the bank both the Bravo and the pay stub one, because then you're just like, imagine if you're a painter, right? You work for a company, then you do some little side gigs where it's 1099. But if the bank sees that money's coming in and he's got money in the bank and they're okay with that, they'll accept the income. Well, you want to verify to make sure that it's a legit driver's license. And what I would tell that guy is that, if you're already using the Bravo, you're already using the payroll, you're paying for that click already. It doesn't cost you any additional fee to use the ID. It doesn't charge you any extra, so why not use it? Or what I've caught myself too is I have a couple customers that, hey, they're asking for STIPs, right? I need a social security card. I need a passport. I need a perm res card. They don't feel comfortable sending to you, say, through a text or through an email. So if you send them a TurboPass, that's a secured way of having to send some ID, some kind of form. That's what I've caught too. I've seen that. Yeah. So a couple of examples that I've had is I get a customer that comes into the store. They got their pay stubs. Pay stubs look a little funny. You do the math on the numbers, it really is not adding up. So what I do is say, hey, sir, I want to verify those pay stubs, or the bank would like to verify those pay stubs. I'm gonna send you a TurboPass, a Bravo, right? And then you can match the deposits onto their pay stubs. And if it matches, it's legit, If it doesn't match it, you got a fraud deal, you stop the deal right away, because it's just not worth it. It's not what we do, I've had some situations where I get a customer in the showroom, they got an out-of-state driver's license, they're buying the car in Florida, they're registering in Florida, but the ID looks kind of funny. There's something off about it. I'll send them a TurboPass identity. If they refuse to do it, we stop the transaction right then and there. I'll give you guys a little funny story here. We have I had this girl, like a young lady that came into the dealership, and everybody was like, yeah, I don't think she could prove her income. She must be an entertainer or something, So I was like, guys, don't skip the process. You obviously have somebody that's under a 660, subprime, right? Or maybe she's a first-time buyer. She's never bought a car, but the girl's got $5,000 down. I need to see her TurboPass, right? So stop prejudging a deal. Stop skipping steps. Stick to the process and send the customer a TurboPass. Let's get all the data that we need to create a car deal. The girl's got deposits 10 to 15 grand a month. She's got $40,000 in her bank account. And she's got legit deposits from Phoenix Internet. which we all know is, OnlyFans. What I like about TurboPass is getting all the data up front. And then you don't guess, especially with all the fraud going on in these days. Especially here in Florida. It's in South Florida. It's moved up to Central Florida, and we just have to protect the Morgan Auto Group. We got to protect the dealerships. That's just what we have to do, because at the end of the day, if you get a fraud deal, you have to buy that deal back, and it's not fun. So we're a big spot delivery store. We try to, it's a very fast paced. We sell about 500-600 cars a month. We have a lot of subprime customers, and what I try to teach my team is not to guess. If a customer tells you, hey, I make $5,000 a month, I work here, and then you verify it and they actually make a lot more money, then that's costing the store money. That's just, you're working the deal completely wrong. It happens all the time. They put on their credit app, I make $5,000 a month. That's $5,000 net, not gross. That's why I don't like guessing. That's why anytime I send the TurboPass. I said something, a 660 or below, first time buyer, very challenged credit. They've had repos, whatever the case is. I want all the data up front. I want to know exactly what I'm working with, because what happens is you submit it to 4, 5, 6 banks, and you get all declines, and all the information you send is wrong. They love it. And Capital One is one of our biggest lenders. We sent them 75 deals last month, right? Yeah, 75 deals. It's a lot of money, and they love it. It just makes it so much easier. You have all your data up front. You're not guessing. If anytime you're working a car deal, time kills deals. Every single time. Customer gets bored or whatever the case is, they're waiting out there for an hour. You can't operate that way. Get all the data up front and make an educated submission. That way you know exactly what banks you're going to. You know your PTIs, that you know where everything's at. You know your DTI. You have everything right in front of you. And if you have a tricky one, you could figure it out. Main thing too down here is protecting fraud. When you get those people that have that pay stub ready to go, it's super easy to make a fake pay stub. Now they just go on the website. If you don't pay the extra fee, it's like trademark on the back.
Right.
So you'll print it out and you're like, dude, this is a fake pay stub. What are you doing? Get these people out of here. You can't, it's like, oh yeah. It looked good on the email, but they emailed the actual PDF. So I clicked the PDF and I printed it out, and it shows trademark, shows paystubsnow.com, or whatever the case was. But yeah, I teach you guys no guessing, man, and time kills deals.